Hey guys, it's your girl LT. I'm so excited to be with you for another episode of the Curated Experience with LT. As you know, we've changed this season and things look a little different, and I'm excited about it, and I hope that you are too. And so this week, our guest is none other than Angie Winn, and she is a phenomenal photographer, videographer. She tells your story in ways that are so personal that you actually did it yourself, and she educates you along the way and brings you into this place that really makes you feel at home and helps you level up your product, services, or business. And so I can't wait for you to get to know her. I want to take this time to say thank you to our sponsor, Share the Love, also known as Love Petals. You can connect with them at lovepetalsnorfolk.com. You connect, you can go to their website. You'll be able to see when our next workshop and next opportunity to volunteer is available to you. And with that, the next episode of the Curated Experience starts right now. We got Angie B Winn in here with us. I'm so excited to have her on again because she was on a couple seasons ago, but with us talking about the pivot, I thought what better person to have on our show to this time to talk about what it looks like and what it feels like to pivot and how it's been working out for her. So Angie B Winn, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Look, I can affectionately call you sis, but I'm so excited, really I am, to see all the things that are happening with you in this pivot, if you will. So tell us a little bit about it. And for those who are new to you, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Angie B Winn. My name is Angelique Winfield. So that's just a combination of my first, middle, and last name. And I am a videographer, photographer, and digital creator. I help women entrepreneurs create visuals that really speak and tell the story that's aligned with their brand, businesses.
And you really do tell it in such a beautiful way. I've been following you for a while, so not only were you doing photography, and because we had to talk about the pivot, really. When I met you, you were doing photography, headshots, and different things, and I think even then you were telling the story. But what took place now that's different from when we first met Angie B Winn to now? You've had It's Real Easy, you got a lot of workshops, you got the masterclass coming up soon. So, talk about that a little bit, the pivot, truly.
Right. So I think for me, I can definitely start off by talking about a recent conversation I had with my mentor. And we were just having a conversation about different things. And he said, well, what's the end goal? I think we have a conversation about a lot of things, but I don't think I've really identified or knew what your end goal was. And I said, because I didn't know. I didn't know what my end goal was. And that's just because I was trying to figure out, how I was going to represent myself as it specifically speaks to photography and videography and creating content. But when people started to really label me as just a content creator, I knew that I didn't want to be in that box. I didn't want to be put into this content creator box. I started out as an influencer, and so rightfully so, I feel like I learned a lot and it helps me to speak to different women. But an end goal for me is not to be attached to the camera forever. It is to have the business, but to really encourage women because it's bigger than just a photo. It's bigger than just a video service. I realized that, especially like you said, you mentioned It's Real Easy. That was my first conference. It started out as just a small workshop just to fit a need, being a part of, the business organization, Ada Lambda. A lot of those women being in a business wanted to learn how to create content. I didn't get a chance to make it, but just from what I saw and from hearing the ladies talk about their experience, not only it really was an experience, it wasn't just let's do content, but it was vibrant, it was interactive, and it was a moment. It was kind of like a brunch/work, right?
What they call like a work lunch. That's what it was.
Yes, it was. Of course, anybody that hasn't, I love to host events. I've been, just doing things and curating events for women for a really long time. I would really say since 2009.
Okay.
Always trying to find a way to fit a need. And so the vision just kind of grew bigger because once I had that conference and I had all of my target audience in one space, in a room, they were able to tell me what their pain points are. And as a business owner, I'm sure that can be kind of mind-boggling because you're creating content, you're putting things out, offering services. You're kind of throwing stuff on the wall to see what sticks.
I was literally just going to say that. You're like, is this going to work? Is that going to work? But for you to be able to find that happen in such a quick time, to be like, oh, you can niche it down to this is what you know you need to do. That's a blessing.
Yes, so, with the first conference that was just this past July on my birthday, my last year in my 30s, I realized that content is not the issue. It's the mindset of the individual. It's the belief. It's the comparison. It's the imposter syndrome. It's the lack of work ethic, lack of strategy, lack of resources, lack of mentorship. And so, God allowed me to be in that position to get all of that information and curate things that will speak to the person who is just specifically wanting to learn how to create content for their businesses, but women who really want to work with me, be mentored, guided, and really allow them to feel trusted with their stories. And so it just kind of grew to fit a bigger demographic and a bigger need specifically for Black and brown women. And my personal end goal, because that's what we was talking about before we was interrupted.
I know. Nicely. She wasn't rude about it.
But, having to, you forget. Like my end goal was not to be strapped to the camera, but to be able to travel and speak to women or help women to utilize their equipment, really to be somebody who I needed. When I first started out, I'm the only entrepreneur. I don't grow up from a family of entrepreneurs. God really laid this path for me to do what it is that I'm doing. I don't have any background, any previous training in this field, in this industry. And God just saw fit for me to be behind the camera and to do what he's been doing since 2009. It just looked different.
That's the pivot for you. And one of the biggest things that I have come to appreciate in this season of pivot, even for myself, is that once he turns it, once he breathes on it, there's an ease that comes with it. And it's to your point about not having any background, but when you're flowing and what he actually called you to do, it moves very differently. And I was just listening to you talk and I was like, you're so much more than you are still an influencer. You're so much more than a content creator. Even spending time with you for how we laid out a plan and a path, how we were going to do this, it was so much more than that. And a lot of that, like you said, has come from you just being able to glean, gather information. And when you gave me the plan, it was beautiful. I almost wanted to be in tears because you told the story so well. You hit every point that I wanted to hit. And that also structured me how I would move.
Right.
And so I just think, I think a lot of times people, we're never just anything.
Right.
I think it's a vehicle. It's an opportunity. And to your point about coming from behind the camera, there's so much that you have spoken to women, why people gravitate to you. And even with this pivot, it's God-led. It's God-led.
Yes.
So let's talk about that too with the pivot of it. You've always been a woman of faith, never known you to be different. What about this season or this time is really you owning that this is a faith-based or just this business is powered by God?
Well, I left my job. I was working a full-time job, and I want to say probably my last 2 years, I left my job officially in 2023, so December of 2023. Is that right? No, actually 2022, because this December will be 3 years.
Wow.
That I left my job, and I was believing God to, once I transitioned from different departments, I felt myself just starting to really just shrink, feeling like I'm evaporating. Every day I come and I sit into this office. There was nothing that was pushing my desire or really motivating me to really show up. And I started to feel it in my body. I know I heard God. I remember sitting at my desk and praying and writing notes. And I think I was so locked in, like the only way that I can do this every day is I got to hear God's word. I have to hear something being ministered. If this is where you would have me to be, like, I want to steward it as the best that I can, but I know that God put me in a position for me to be uncomfortable, for me to feel like that, so that when it was time for him to transition me out of the job, that my dependency would be solely on him. And I knew that that wouldn't happen until God told my husband. Because at that time, we know what it's like for the ends to not meet.
Oh, yeah.
For us to have just enough. And we've experienced, a season of more than enough. And so looking at where we were then, my husband was kind of like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know. I gotta think.
Like God he hadn't talked to him yet.
Right. And so I kept asking, well, how much do I need? Like, I have this. And one day I stayed home. At this point, I was on FMLA. I ended up having like a herniated disc, and I got FMLA for it. In this particular time, this was a day that I was at home. I remember being in my closet. We rarely watch CBN. It just so happened to come on after the weather this particular morning. And he was home, I was home. And literally, you would have thought that somebody came out of the TV and just talked to us.
Wow.
Like, the guy was like, there's somebody at home right now wondering if God is calling them off of their jobs. You are in pain, specifically down to the neck. He was so specific. And my husband was right there. And once my husband heard that, like, I leaned out of the closet. He stopped what he was doing. And
we were like, did you hear that? Are we here?
It was in that moment that, like, my husband was like, okay, like, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you. And so I left my job, and I just have had to just kind of trust God all the way and steward what he has given me. So, like, he's given me the gift, but it's up to me. It's up to me to utilize it well, to steward it well. It makes me think about the talents.
Yes, to get to the story of the talents.
Yes, the story of the talents. And so, like, one got 1, one got 3, and another one got 5. And so the one who got 1, he buried it.
Yep.
Like, I didn't want to lose the money, but everybody else kind of invested it and grew it.
Yep.
And so I say all that to say it's the same with the business. Like, whatever God has purposed you to do, like, he has purposed you to do it, but he didn't tell you how to do it. And so the more that you love it, the more that you're committed to it, the more that you are doing the work unto the Lord, he will expand your territory. He said that he would give us nations. And nations are
nations.
Beyond.
It's everybody.
Yes, it's everybody. It's beyond what we could ask or think, and that is the word. And so every day I try my best to do unto the Lord, even in those frustrations, even in those uncertainties. Earlier you asked me about, like, increasing in price, and so that's where I am now. And sometimes, I'm out of people's budgets. They're like, sometimes they don't respond. Other people be like, oh, we found somebody less expensive, someone that can fit our budget. And there's ways to navigate around it. But what it's doing is really pushing me now in this season to trust God even more, because it's like you're putting in work and now you're not charging for the service. I have desires, I have goals, I have plans. I want to grow a media agency. I don't want to be the one just doing work all the time.
Exactly.
I need to have employees. I need to do these things. So it's just the pricing, the development of the business, the structure, and what it is that I'm learning so that I can do my part of the faith.
Absolutely.
Faith without works is
dead. No, you can't get anywhere. And it's funny because when I'm listening to you talk, and rightfully so, that little tug, just a reminder that all you have is all you need, and just to keep going with it. And sometimes we feel like we need something else, we need to do something else. And like I said a minute ago, when God breathes on it, it's an ease that comes with it, and you do find yourself, putting yourself out there. And when I did the intro a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about not gatekeeping, and we can't gatekeep information. You can't, you can't gatekeep your talent and gift. It's not for you; it's for you to use and put out. So you got to do something with it. So I think it's not strange that you say you talked about the talents, because it's literally our talents, gifts, and our abilities are to be able to advance and go forward. And you only do that touching other people, and it's not right here. And your price is your price.
Right.
And I think with the price, you get the people that are supposed to be working with you, that are supposed to move with integrity. We always get those one-offs, but I'm just saying, listening to you talk, you've had to pivot a couple of times, not only from 2009, but then to sit and pivot from working a full-time job where there was, I loosely say, benefits. When you consider the day and the time, that's so transient right now. And a lot of times those were the reasons people stayed for jobs, was because of the benefits. Now it's like this season is really there for you, and I love that, how you're blossoming in that pivot. And when you think about pivoting. A lot of times we have the outside noises that are talking to us. So how do you combat the outside voices, and more importantly, the voice inside of you that wants to try to remind you or try to say, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do it. What are you doing to minimize that voice?
Yeah. So for me, I would say it's more, I have more challenges with like the inner me versus any outer influences. I keep my circle very small. From time to time, the Father keeps me isolated. So literally, like, there's a limitation, especially like if I'm in a position of birthing. I feel like that's probably the best visual that I can give verbally. There's only a certain amount of people that could actually be in there when you deliver outside of the doctors. And so it's the same when God is downloading and he's dropping ideas, things that sometimes can be really scary. Initially, when you hit it, like we already know, like God is going to give us the strength. We do all things through Christ, which strengthens us. We know all of these things. But then when you get that download, sometimes you'll be like,
you're like, but we didn't talk about that. That seems like a little bit more than what we talked about.
Is that you?
or the better part. Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's my favorite question to him. Are you serious?
For sure. So it can be scary, and it's really important that you have people that have stronger faith than you, bigger faith than you, people that are going to hold you accountable. And so the outside noise has never really been like an effect. It's always been like me, the little Angie. It's like, oh, we scared. Oh, we scared. One thing that my husband started to tell my daughter, like when we talk about wanting to advance and wanting to buy a home and just wanting to do different things and give our children different experiences, he started to coin this term that we're going to the top.
Ooh, I like that.
He used to tell my daughter would be like, Daddy, where we going? To the top?
I like that.
We're going to the top. And so like she's sick, so she thinks that the top is a physical place.
And it can be.
Yes, but she's like, when we going to the top? When we going to the top? It's like, whatever the top look like, we gotta get us there. But like those type of things, like we're going to the top, we're elevating, and when much is given, much is required.
Man, listen. That's gonna be a whole conversation for another day, because it is a lot. You talk about stewardship, and then it goes back to, have you prepared for what you pray for?
Exactly.
Have you made room to receive what you pray for, and then have you prayed to maintain it?
Yes.
Because that's what I hear you talking about. It's like, cool, we asked for this, but what we gonna do with it?
Mm-hmm. And I know for me, like there's been a couple of, I can't remember what the specific topic was. No, I do now. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I remember watching a snippet of Mike Todd, and he was talking about like, we got to stop praying for things that we have the strength to change. Like, you want God to help deliver you from diabetes, but you won't modify the thing that you can, which is what you're eating.
Right.
So now it's never a God problem. But this is not a God problem. This is a obedient problem. Like, can you be obedient? Can you be disciplined? Because to do anything different, you have to just start doing it and keep doing it so it can become innate. And so I say all that to say that I stopped praying for things a long time ago. I started praying for the character that I needed to possess in order to have the things that I want. And so the first thing, of course, is God tells you to seek first the kingdom of God and then all these things. So you have to seek him first. So that's number one, like you seek him first. And then you ask for self-awareness. Then you ask God to partner with you and help you to be accountable in things that we have absolutely no control. But there are things that God has given us the strength that we're able to do, that come with ease. But then going to God and laying all that heavy burden at his feet and just saying, I know you're calling me to this, and this is, I can't do it. He loves that. He really does. He wants you to be dependent on him. He loves that. And so the moment that you can get over yourself and say, like, God, I need your help. Align with me, partner with me. I need to have the characteristic of someone who stewards their money well. So help me steward my money well. Help me steward my time well. Help me to have a healthy work ethic. All of those things. Because once you have the characteristics, your character will keep you in places that your talent will not.
That part of the talent only gets you in the door,
Yes.
but staying and sustaining and moving with integrity, and then your name gets put in rooms.
Absolutely.
Because of that.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's like, you know, when they say your gifts make room for you, but once you're in the room, it's then up to you, how you carry it out.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, again, that pivot, you know, that it's the pivot of how am I thinking about a thing, you know, when starting a business, instead of thinking I want to start it for the money, what solution can I be? With the solution, how am I going to carry out the solution? Again, even going back to working with you as we transition into this new season, I couldn't think of a better person who would help and who could guide in this transition, because there was so much more. And it afforded me that discipline to say, because it's like, okay, we're talking about this, so I got to be disciplined to make sure all these things are done. And then I could really look back. The other day I was sitting down and I was like, I've already got the rest of the year done. In just one conversation. And so going back to what you said about discipline and the things that we can control. And so I love that that's where you are in this pivot, in this shift with your business. And I don't even know if I wouldn't even call it your business, with your ministry, because I just believe you do that too. Yeah. Especially when you're telling somebody's story, you have to connect with them. You have to understand them. So with that, what has been so far, what has been one of your favorite I guess stories, or I won't even call content, but what has been one of your favorite moments so far of working with clients that you really could sit back and look at your work and like, man, that was really good. I really liked that. And you saw that person.
When it comes to clients, I think one of like my moment of feeling like I have impacted somebody, I think my mentor asked me like last year, like he told me like I needed to find something to measure.
You do, yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I don't know, you know, because I don't do the social media management part of it. And so like, well, that made me be more intentional to start paying attention to metrics. But my measurement was impact. And so there's a particular client, actually absolutely one of my favorite clients. And I remember when we first started working together, and she was going through an illness, or had just came through an illness. And so when we sat down and talked, like her commitment level was, her mindset around that was determined on whether or not she was going to live or die. And like literally, she would pay my invoice on time, but we weren't doing any work. And so I was talking to my husband about it. I was like, I'm taking it like, because I value anybody that's work. I don't care if it's $100, $50, it could be $1,000, it doesn't matter. Like, you work hard for this money and you're giving me this money and you're having an expectation that I'm supposed to deliver.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I understand I can't control that part of it. I can't make you show up. But I had to realize that they were, you know, having conversations with her that there were bigger things. So fast forward to the beginning of this year, you know, we sat down, we met together, and she was just like, you know, what I noticed is I can't commit if it gotta just be me. If I gotta show up every week, get my makeup done, get dressed, because sometimes I just don't feel well.
Gotcha.
But what we can do is I'm gonna have you go to all these different sites, because she has multiple sites, and I probably interviewed over 30 people. She has 5 different sites. I interviewed 30, and then the ones that she can make, she would let me know like, hey, I'm gonna be here. I wanna talk about X, Y, and Z. And she would give me questions. And like, I've literally just seen her blossom as far as interviews and going on the radio station, building her nonprofit outside of her business, really being hands-on, really, you know, putting out content, structuring her team. And so that started just from me planting this.
I was going to say, and sometimes that measurable outcomes, because, you know, like you said, you mentioned it about the metrics, and they matter. But at the end of it all, if you're not making impact, you can have 1,000, you can have 10,000, you can have all the followers you want. But if no one is gleaning from you and their life isn't changing because of something you said or something you did you really do what you set out to do? Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's how I think people get influence kind of twisted. It's like, I'm influencing and people are following, but how are they changing? How are they morphing, and how are they transforming into this next level of who they need to be and who they need to become? So I'm excited for you, Angie. I really, really love that. Maybe that's a bias, but I also can see objectively and can see the woman that you are raised and elevated to be in your business, in this transition, and the importance of having someone like you to help people tell their story about their brand, about their business. And you don't just tell it just for a service, like you really get underneath the why, the who, and make sure that when it's executed, it shows them in every facet of their business. And so thank you for your yes in so many ways. Thank you for your yes and for being a guest to kick us off. I'm excited about it. Can't wait to see what else we do together.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see the impact you are going to continue to make. And I'll just say, never ever doubt. Never ever doubt. That day that it wants to sneak up, just look back at what you've already done. And if it helps, just go back and look at those people. Because man, it really makes a difference. And so we're glad that she joined us. We're glad that you joined us. We hope that you enjoyed our conversation. You know, I like to think about the Curated Experience as us having a conversation. You guys are eavesdropping on it, and we invite you in a little bit. So I just want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the Curated Experience with Angie B Winn. And stay connected. Make sure, how can people connect with you? Make sure they want to tap in and, you know, make sure they get with the best of the best.
Thank you. Well, you know, I try my best. So just to keep up with me, you can definitely follow me on Instagram. I hang out there the most. It's Angie B Winn, ANGIE BWINN. So that's over on Instagram. My website is angiebwinning.com. I have all of my information there on my website, housed on my Instagram. So if you want to DM me, shoot me a DM. If you want to email me, send me an email. If you just have a question or you just want to connect, definitely connect with me. I do networking events, community events, and I just want to offer different opportunities for all the women who are in Hampton Roads, DMV, wherever. If you want to travel, we want everybody. Light it out to everybody.
I was going to say, we're not just keeping her local. She got to go. She got to travel because, you know, when you've been called, and when you've been called, you got to go.
Yes.
And so we hope that you all will have an amazing day. And I got to leave it, you know, the one thing that has to stay the same with the Curated Experience, no matter what it looks like, is this. Maya Angelou, she says it this way: people forget what you said and what you done, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And so it's important that we make people feel important and valued and seen, and that they're worth it, because so many people are like this far away from thinking that it's over. And I just want us to be mindful of that, especially in this season, to stay connected and to be kind. It costs you nothing to be kind. And so with that, we'll see you at the next episode, and we'll see you in the comments. Take care.